Credit cards. A lot of times once folks have gotten in trouble with their credit cards or anything else that's going on in their credit report, they don't have credit cards any longer. Well, that's going to hurt you big time. You have to have credit cards if you want to play this credit game. Credit cards make up 35% of your credit score and how you use them. So if you don't have any credit cards, unfortunately you're going to need to get some if you want to play this game, okay? Now, I'm not trying to tell you that I want you to go back into debt. I don't want to get you in debt. You know, some folks say, hey, that's what got me in trouble in the first place. That's why my credit's all messed up. You know, it wasn't paying the bills and so on and so forth. Well, I'm not trying to tell you to be irresponsible. You need to be responsible. You need to pay those credit cards on time. I just want to coach you now through this video and tell you how to use credit cards to your advantage and get that score increase. Now, it might be a catch-22. You might say, well, yeah, but I had credit cards and, you know, went into default and my mortgage and bankruptcy and all these things. And so now I can't even apply for a credit card because I have a 500 credit score. Right, I understand that. But once we get some of those things deleted from your credit report, obviously to help bring your score up a little bit, make you credit worthy, you can then start applying for credit cards. I also will have a link here to some credit card companies that you can go to that specialize in helping people with credit, with bad credit issues. Okay, so you still can get a credit card. You might need to be up around the mid to high fives or 600 credit score, so you can get a credit card again. Now, once you get those credit cards, or if you already have some credit cards, I want to talk about how to use those credit cards properly. Okay, some quick rules of thumb here. You want to have between 3 to 5 credit cards max. Okay, preferably your Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, cards like that. You don't really want to have the department store credit cards. If you have them, okay, that's fine. We'll talk about that a little later. But those are some of the companies that you want to have. Why? Because you can use those credit cards anywhere. You can get gas, groceries, buy a soda, go to the supermarket, go for dinner. You can go to Best Buy, you can go to JCPenney's, you can go to the tire store, you can go anywhere and use those cards. The problem with department store credit cards is you can only use them at that store, usually 90% of the time or 99% of the time. So I'm not trying to get you to go out and spend money. I don't want the husbands calling me and saying, hey, you told my wife to go out and buy a new purse and a new pair of shoes every month. No, that's not what I'm trying to say. Or I don't want the wives calling me and saying, hey, you told my husband to go buy a new set of golf clubs and some new golf shoes and some more parts for his Harley and, you know, all kinds of stuff. No, that's not what I'm saying. So instead of pulling out the debit card or using cash, this is when you'd pull out the credit card. Use it for things that you would normally buy day to day anyways, including paying your utility bills online. Okay, that's another thing you can use your credit cards for. Now, another rule of thumb, second rule of thumb, you never want to go above 25% of that credit card limit. Okay, so if it's a $300 limit, you never want to go above $75. If it's a $1,000 limit, you never want to go above $250. Now, you might do that throughout the month, and I know a lot of people say to me, well, you know, I use my card for business, or I get airline miles, or points, or dividend cashbacks, all those kinds of things. I totally understand that. I use my cards for the exact same thing, okay? But I do pay my card off maybe 3-4 times a month. As soon as I hit that 25%, I go online and pay that card off immediately. Then go back out next week, use it again, hits 25%, pay it down again. Now, I know you guys are used to just saying, well, that's, you know, it's a lot of work and I'm just used to getting my bill every month and whatever it is, then I pay it off or pay it down or whatever the case may be. I understand, okay? This is a credit game, okay? There's rules to the game. So you have to get off your duff and you have to play the game, okay? Put on your equipment and get in there and get in the ring and fight, okay? We're dealing with the creditors, we're dealing with the banks, we're dealing with our government. This is something you're going to need to do if you want to win at this game, okay? So set a reminder on your calendar, on your phone every week to go off saying, hey, check my credit card. You know, check the Amex this week. Check, you know, the Discover this week, whatever the case may be. Now, maybe you don't use your credit cards a lot. Maybe you say, well, I'm the type of guy, I really don't like to use credit cards. Okay, again, like I said, you need to use those cards. But maybe you only use it once a month. It doesn't matter how many times you use it in that given month, at least once, okay? So if you have those 3 cards or 5 cards, use them all at least once a month. Preferably, okay? This again is to try to attain the highest score possible, okay? So just in recapping that, you want to have 3 to 5 cards, never go above 25% of the limit. If you do, pay them off as soon as you can. The other rule of thumb here that you have to have on your credit cards to have the score as high as possible is have the history on those cards. You want to have had those cards for at least 4 years. Okay, 48 months of history, of good history, no lates, things like that. If you have, again, that's what we're disputing. Hopefully we'll get those lates removed and you can go on with that card and have good history. Okay, so you preferably want to have at least 4 years of history on each of those cards. If you don't worry about it. You're gonna have to build them up. If you don't have credit cards and we have to get you some new ones, again, just keep using those cards 6 months, a year from now, 2 years from now, we'll see your score increase over time. Now, I get this question a lot too. Should I close accounts? What if I have 10 or 20 cards? What if I have nothing but department store credit cards? Should I close all those down and then go and apply for a MasterCard or Visa? Okay, don't get in a rush. Just listen to what I'm saying here. If you have cards that you want to cancel, fine. Okay, you can cancel those accounts. But wait until you have at least 2, 3, 4 years of history on the other cards before you cancel out the cards you want to. Okay? The other thing you want to do is never cancel 5 cards at once. You want to cancel 1 card at a time every 3 to 4 months. Okay? So if you have a lot of cards you want to cancel, it might take you a year or 2 to cancel all those accounts. Again, if the other cards aren't having at least 2 to 4 years of history, don't cancel any of the other cards. Okay? Or if you have a bunch, maybe cancel, like I said, again, 1 at a time or 1 every 6 months until those other cards have the history built up on them. And this is going to secure a good score for you. So that's what I really wanted to go over about credit cards. If you have any more questions on it, shoot us an email and we will go over this topic again in more detail.